So I'm going to give you my 9 actual use cases for this thing. This thing is so easy to use. I mean, it folds out, and then you can easily put it down, put it on its stand, flip this open, and now you have 2 screens. When I was researching if I wanted to buy this Asus Duo and this very tiny magnetic keyboard here, I was looking for some actual use case, and I really couldn't find that many. It was mostly sponsored videos of this thing. So the first one I'm actually using is having a browser window open up top or another app, and then a productivity app like Trello or other productivity apps in the bottom. Now this is very easy to use because you can see what you're doing, what you're working on, which product or which software you're working on, and also how far along the cards are at the same time. So I'm using Trello right here, and it's very easy to use because you have a touch screen. You can touch the cards and they will open up. You can touch it and then just type something and it will appear on the card. You can add someone and write a message and see what you're looking at while you're writing the message. In your software up top, you can easily describe it, and you don't have to go back and forth between these apps. This is really, really great. I really like the fact that the touchscreen, you can use it with your fingers. So use the productivity app like Trello with your fingers. But when you start moving the mouse again, it remains in the same spot that you were right up top at the screen. So that's really, really great because you don't have to use any additional mouse gestures to get from one screen to the next. So that's really great for productivity and also for your wrists. And the next one is just doing your work on the top screen, but then using the bottom screen as an organizer for your files or folders. So this way you can easily use those files and folders in the software that you're working at. I use that a lot with my DaVinci Resolve because I can drag my folders and my video recordings right into my editing software. And it's also very easy that it is a touchscreen on the bottom because you can use this with your fingers or with the supplied stylus. You can organize your files just with your finger gestures, move those around between folders, and you can even make the screen just a little larger and the icons just a little larger so they're easier to grab. And the stylus is also very easy to use because you can use single clicks stylus, but you can also use this button right here on the stylus, this second button, to do a right click. So that way you can easily just rename files, for example, give them another name, delete files or create additional folders. So you don't have to move around screens. You just have that second additional screen to easily view all the files you're working with. And the third one is video editing with program-specific dials. Now, as soon as I open my video editing program, I'm using DaVinci Resolve here. You can see that my dials will pop up. Now you can set these here in the Asus app. You can just open that and then use the control panel here. And then you can set all of these different dials that you want to use in your program. Now, for example, here I can move the timeline, which is pretty cool. So you can use that, and then you can have different short keys here that you can use. I use the split click right here, so that immediately splits the entire timeline. Otherwise, I'd have to do Control and P here, but now I have just a touch screen to do that. And then I also have a part here where I do the ripple delete, so the timeline moves over as well as deleting it. So that's also pretty easy to use. And you can add dials, large or small. You can add buttons that you can use. You can add the text here so you know what it does. DaVinci Ripple Delete, it says here. This is the system brightness and some system buttons you can have in here. So you can customize this any way you want. And this way I also have my files right here. Can move into my timeline very easily. So let's place that on the timeline, and then I will have my keys again here that I can easily use to edit. And this saves me a lot of time. It's very easy to use. You can also use this to do research on one screen and then compare info on the other screen, like scrolling through Amazon to find products that are also in another shop, which is what I often do, or comparing two things to another, like is the Asus Zenbook Duo good or is it bad, and then scrolling through both one at a time and comparing the data one to the other. It's also very useful to look up things that you're doing on one screen and to input that on the other screen so you can still see what you're inputting. So that's very, very useful here. It is also still pretty lightweight and very easy to take with you and then just fold out, which brings me to the next way of using this, which is sitting on the couch while using the Bluetooth keyboard. Now you can just set the screens right on the couch on like a little table, side table that I'm doing here, and then relax comfortably while you're using the Bluetooth keyboard on your lap, which doesn't get hot at all, so you don't have that hot laptop on your lap. Still use the two screens if you'd like and set those down, and still use the keyboard to move through the two screens, which makes for a very relaxing way of working, and I really like this way of working. And then also very easy to use, but a little different than research on one and looking up the info on the other, is using a browser and looking up stuff or your spreadsheet, and then using a calculator below, which you can use with the touch screen, so you can easily move through your pages, move through your data, and then quickly use your calculator with your touch screen to calculate some stuff. And I often use this as well. Now, another cool way of using this is recording video while you have your notes with you as well, so you don't have to compromise on screen. You can see what you're recording, and if the recording is good, you can see the audio levels right there and still have your notes down here. You can also use your notes up top, of course, and it's especially cool when you're using like Zoom. You have the camera right here, still have your notes up there, but still see the Zoom meeting down here. And then while you're reading your notes, like if you're doing a presentation, the camera is almost at eye level, so you're just looking at the camera, it seems, for the people in the room. So this is also a pretty cool way of using the camera and your notes while you can also see the recording or the video conference room. Then you can also use this as a handwriting tool when you're taking like notes. So that's pretty cool. So you can use this for handwriting, taking notes in like a meeting or at school, and you can still see like your school stuff here. Or right now I'm seeing my recording, so you can see actually what I'm recording while I'm writing this. So that's also pretty cool. Handwriting, recording, you can take notes, cool. Or in meetings. And you can also record everything, and then you can just press on the button here on the pen, and then you can use this as an eraser as well if you made a mistake. So that's cool. You can also use this as a virtual blackboard while you are recording or while you're doing a virtual meeting, and have this show up in the meeting, so you can make like you can draw some images while you're doing the meeting, so everyone can see what you're talking about, what you're doing, and make like a flowchart or something. That's also pretty easy to use. Brings me to my next use case. You can also draw with this. Just open a window. I'm using Krita here, which is a free drawing tool. Let's make this full screen here. And then you can use this canvas here to start drawing. And you can see the different thickness of the lines. And then use that as a different line. I have all these different settings, diameters, and do some small lines as well. We change those settings. So you really go in here and use this screen as a drawing system, and then still have like a reference material up here, for example, or other things up there. So you can really use this as a drawing tablet and have like your reference material or your tutorial video up there. You can also do it like that, which is pretty handy here. So you can draw here, have your tutorial video up there, which is pretty handy, and then just continue on drawing a bit of a thicker line here. So you can use all these settings in your tool of choice. Now I have a little thicker line so you can see that. You can draw anything that you like and use this as a drawing tablet. So these were my favorite ways to use my Asus Zenbook Duo, and I hope this video has helped you to make your choice if something like this is something for you as well.